thank you so much for inviting us into your lab.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
So, can you show us around a bit?
Sure. So this is what your typical lab bench looks like. Usually in science we use a lot of micro-pipettes. This can pipette up to 1 milliliter. And this one pipettes up to 2 microliters. That is very small. It's 1/50th, no, 1/500th of a milliliter.
Wow, wow, okay.
I hope I did the math right. Cut this out if I didn't. Yeah. And so I can show you around and look at some of the centrifuges that we have. So centrifuges are things that just spin really quickly. And so if you have a mixture of things in a solution, in a liquid, you can spin them so the heavier things fall to the bottom. And you can isolate the lighter things or isolate the heavier things, whatever you want. Is used every day. This is your really basic one. Inside there are spots for tubes to go in. So there's holes in here, and then you can put these tubes in and then it'll spin. And this one goes up to 15,000 rotations per minute.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah. And then we also have smaller ones, such as these over here. These ones are just for taking the liquid to the bottom of a tube because it's easier to remove the liquid or transfer the liquid if it's just at one place. So you just put this on and then you press it down and it spins. Alright, here is our wall of random supplies. So these you might have seen before. These are beakers. So just to put liquid in, whatever you need them for. These are erlenmeyer flasks. You will learn this in first year science. And then these are just bottles, glass bottles. Sometimes you put some gross medium, so they are kind of those liquid food for the cells.
Oh, okay.
You put these in these bottles. And then here are the tips that you put in those micro-pipettes. So every time you use a micro-pipette, you put on a tip. And then if you are transferring a new kind of liquid, you use a new tip.
Where do I dispose of the used one?
The used ones, you just put them in the biohazardous waste, which is right here.
Perfect.
Okay.
What's that?
So this is a liquid nitrogen tank. So it's filled with nitrogen, and we use this to store cells. So when we finish using our cells and we want to store them for future use, we can put them in here. And once we want to use the cells again, we can thaw them and they'll still be alive.
Whoa, interesting. And behind you?
Behind me is the fume hood. So if you have dangerous chemicals, then you use this to transfer your chemicals and make different sorts of combinations of liquids. And then down here are the hazardous materials. So this cabinet is the flammable cabinet. So in here you might find some alcohols, some materials that you shouldn't keep outside. Yeah, and then there's some acids in here as well. So here are some of the weigh scales that we have. This one's the one that I use when I want to measure about 2 grams of material. It goes up to about 1.6 kilograms. This one is the more expensive one. This one can weigh milligrams of material. So very light things you can weigh. Don't put anything heavy in here. Yes.
Okay.
Alright, so these are the minus 80-degree freezers. They're very cold. And if you open them for a long time, they will start to beep. Because you don't want to decrease the temperature in here. Yeah, so the door is really thick.
Oh, wow.
Thick. And And then there's doors inside.
Oh,
And
oh
then
my.
you will have drawers coming out. And you will have the boxes with tubes inside.
Whoa. And that's Celsius, minus 78.
Yeah.
And why do you need it so cold?
Sometimes we need to use them to store cells, to store biological materials, and those things can degrade when they're at room temperature. And so if you need to store RNA or DNA or proteins, you put them to the minus 80 fridge.